Okay, thank you very much, Andrew. Okay, thank you. We've had some very interesting presentations this morning, and one of the things that I'm going to talk to you about this morning is a brand new institute, just talking publicly about it today for the first time. But this is one of the things that have been coming out of the Cost Reduction Task Force and lots of initiatives is alliancing, people working together. And this is an area where 3 universities in the northeast of Scotland have come together, recognising an opportunity of what's happening in the North Sea and bringing together our expertise into an area. And the reason we're doing it is because there is an opportunity there. We have a skill set that can contribute to that. But individually, each university could probably only provide a few members. Together, we can probably draw on around 80 academic members of staff across a range of disciplines. And what we're looking at is interdisciplinary working, an integrated approach to solving some of the problems that are facing. We've heard about them just now. And what our aim is to try and help catalyse the efficient deployment and management of the industry, and that's where we're at. We're not in technology, we're into the deployment and management, aiding that decision-making process, bringing best practice, and develop, share, and apply that knowledge as we go forward. And we didn't just think of this in the bath one day. We spent the last year working together with industry, with the government, with the development agencies, our colleagues elsewhere in the academic community, as to what the needs are. And so we've analysed what our own experiences, expertise is, we've looked at where the gaps are, and then we've held a series over the last year or so of workshops, working with the academic community as to what they think the needs are, pushing them back to the industry and having a balance of that debate. And then we've gone to talk to the government, the enterprise agencies, and then gone into talking with the NGO community as to see what their needs is. And that was an interesting debate with the NGO community because they realised that we're actually not dictating, we're actually wanting to work with them to find out what the issues were, to find out how we can actually overcome some of the problems and deliver the projects forward. So that helped us define the need, gave us the opportunity to find our opportunity. We then had a focus group meeting, out of which a business plan came and out of which the Institute is coming forward. And part of our process is being to see where does our expertise fit compared with others in the area. So we did some quite detailed competitive analysis, not just in Scotland, the UK, and Europe, but also around the world. And what we see is a space in there in deployment and management and focus. It's not quite a white space. There are other people playing in that space, but it is an area where there's a need to focus, where we have expertise which we don't think other people are playing into. And we will operate with the technology focus, like my colleagues in the Energy Technology Partnership. We'll be working with them to work with them on the technology side, but how we can apply it. We've got the environmental focus through MAST and other organisations. And then we've got Andrew and the ETIs in the innovation of the technology and innovation of the delivery systems. And we see ourselves as working not in competition, but complementary to that, as a part of a team working together to deliver the offshore industry. And where we fit into that is in the 4 areas in the arrows at the top, which we call framing, consenting, deploying, and managing. And that's all the sort of envelope in which the industry is facing. So in terms of regulation, law, and economics, we'll be looking at policy, regulation, finance, support mechanisms, etc., legal aspects. And one of the key projects that we're working on at the moment is on looking at EMR and what the implications for the EMR, or what the potential implication for EMR will be for the independent organisations working in this space. So I think this is sort of another view as to what's coming forward. In terms of consenting, we recognise that there's a massive amount of work that has to be undergone by developers, and maybe that could be reduced, made more effective, streamlined, and so we'll be looking at environmental impact, ideally with long-term monitoring, building up databases to allow us to understand the environment as we go forward. And on the deploying side, looking at foundation substructures, geotechnics, where we have a particular skill set between Aberdeen and Dundee universities, access, alliancing strategies, looking at the way in which we actually make these things work. And then in terms of the managing side, looking at asset management, looking at the whole life cycle of these wind farms. We're looking at long licenses and how do we actually deal with repowering as we go through upgrading the systems. Access, safety and reliability, which we think is obviously a very important aspect. And also workforce management. How do you actually get the skilled people out there? Is it motherships? Is it big helicopters? How do you move around? What's the accommodation platform, the environment going to be like? Trying to make that part of the equation work as efficiently and as effectively as possible. Our focus in the short term is on offshore wind because that's where the business opportunity lies, that's where the real demand is at the moment. So we'll be doing collaboratively research with industry. We'll be looking at provision of CPD and short courses to upskill workers from other sectors into the offshore wind industry, and also be able to work with government, and other agencies and industry, and with consultancy and advice on how to move things forward. Also, because we're universities, there's an educational perspective to what we do. We have our own existing raft of master's programs in renewable energy, but we'll be upgrading those to look at the offshore area. And the idea is long-term to build in offshore MSc, but also an MBA program, because that's we see as a very important area. And of course, universities, we've got the long-term deep research that we get through PhD programs, which we can operate through. And then we anticipate moving into the wave and tidal area and building up some of the expertise we've got in the offshore wind, applying that into the wave and tidal area with a similar sort of portfolio activities. Those timelines will shift and change a little bit as business opportunities and opportunities, as our research comes forward, be able to move things forward. Thank you for your attention, and if you want to find out more about us, we're on stand AB 17 out in the AREG zone. Thank you.